afternoon. We are chiming in from Georgia at noon Eastern Standard Time. And if you are seeing me, you should be seeing me in all of the places. I am streaming from Facebook, Instagram. Gotta press go live on Instagram and YouTube right now. Let me know that you see me. Holler at a player. Noon o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you have never met me, my name is Tenille. I help women who've been diagnosed with lupus go from confused and discouraged to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. And here we are doing just that. Today's guest is so cool. It's just like the way that we met is insane. I was on a plane. I was waiting for my plane, right? And I've been moving back and forth between New York and Florida my whole life, but now we moved to Georgia. So I was flying back to Florida, I think. I was leaving an event this person was also a part of. I had no idea. And we got to talking, and I find out that this man had a wife who was a lupus warrior who, hello. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for letting me know that you see me. Hello. Yes. All right, YouTube. And we were in the same company. We were on the same mission, and he was living in Florida when I was moving to Georgia. But let me tell you, there are no coincidences. The powerhouse that this man is, the big thinker, the businessman that he is such a blessing in my life. And I'm so grateful to call him a friend and to know that I could reach out to him or he could reach out to me with whatever we need. And understanding the struggle of a chronic illness, even though he didn't have a chronic illness, his wife actually passed away from this chronic illness that I also have. So I just feel very connected to him in that way. So without further ado, we're going to talk to my very successful, very cool friend, Brandon Abbey. Welcome to the stage.
What's up, man? What's up? Hope all is well. I know I got a lot of energy, man. That's just me, right? They say it from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep. I got energy. If I ain't got no energy, then it's something going on.
Right? Oh no! Wait.
My friends have told me.
Wait, whose audio is off? Can you hear me? Who cannot hear me? This is important. You just missed all of Brandon's high energy-ness. And he's literally like that all the time. This is not a drill. This is how he is. Wait. Oof. Nope. That's some audio that I don't need. Can you hear me? I guess we'll talk. And if it's audio's bad, I will just repost the recording. Okay. Audio is fine for you. Okay, Mitch. Okay, you got it. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, back. We're back. Thank you so much for being here, Brandon. You're the best.
We're back.
So now you do a lot of things, a lot of other things that have nothing to do with lupus at all. However, I know that you were building a family with a lupus warrior, and she was a huge part of your life, and still is a huge part of your life. So when you got together with your wife, did you know she had lupus already?
Oh no, she didn't have lupus then, man. No. I'm gonna tell you a little bit, get a little history on it, and no, she did not have lupus when we got married, and and I'll give you a little history or whatever. A little couple jewels in here too, right?
Okay.
So I was in Japan, right? I didn't even know it at all. I was in Japan. She was in Atlanta, and she jumped in my inbox on MySpace, and we just kind of hit it off from the jump, and I went on a deployment to Iraq, my first one, and it was like 14 months after I had joined the military. So I was in the Air Force, United States Air Force veteran. Did 8.5 years, 8 years, 8 months, and 20 days in the United States Air Force.
Your
But
service, wow.
I appreciate it. Did a lot of great things while I was in, and she wrote it. I went on a deployment to Iraq. I was supposed to be on it 6 months, but I ended up doing 10 months out there, and man, and she wrote it out with me, and I was like, okay, cool. I came back and I went home, and I had a lot of things set up. I had a lot of different things set up, and going to hang out with people and things of that nature. But as soon as I met her, we had talked over the phone for over a year, but then even in Iraq, and she we just kind of hit it off. And like 7 days, I told her who was getting married, right? I told her, I didn't act. I said we're getting married.
Wait, hold on. In 7 days?
Yeah. 7 days after we met. Yep. I told her we was getting married. And that was, yeah. And
wow.
Let me tell you, 19 days after that day, from the first day we actually had eyes on one another, we got married 19 days after. So it was the 25th. We got married. And
that's crazy. So you were talking for a while before you actually met.
Yeah. We was on the phone for a while. She rode with me in Iraq, man. And Iraq, if you ever been deployed or know a family member that's been deployed, Iraq is a stressful time zone. You know what I mean? We talking about 2006, 2007, where somebody's life can be taken away just like that. So having experienced that, and she wrote it out with me, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what we got going on here. I didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know what she was doing. But we jumped all head first in.
That's crazy. Okay. So you get married to a stranger. I'm just kidding. I mean, you first get together very, very, very quickly. Wow. If this happened now, they'd be like, she's love bombing you, girl. Don't date him. Yeah. So that's a romantical whirlwind. Very cool. Hey, Jean. So we are married now. So then what happens?
And then so after that, I had, over the next 3 months, I got married, and I was like, whoa, what did I got back home to Japan, and that's when reality hit. Like, man, I got married. What? Because I go from a single life to not an engagement life to a married life, right? And so I'm like, I gotta move different a little bit. So I just locked in mentally. I was already on the path to where I wanted to go in the Air Force. I had my goals, dreams, and aspirations already locked in for it. And that was the thing, man. And I just kind of went on from there, and I went on in 3 months. I won a lot of awards and things of that nature, and to be able to gift me, they was like, hey, you going to Ecuador? Like 6 months after I got back from my other deployment, they was like, you going to Ecuador to be able to as a reward for you guys doing 10 months in Iraq. We're gonna send you the guys to Ecuador on a chiller vacation, right? On a different deployment. And so she wrote, you know what I mean? That was the case, and from there, she wrote it out, and I went on Ecuador, and I had just won all these awards, and so I know everybody from the 2-star general to the lowest airman on base, right? And so and she was in Atlanta, and I was in Ecuador, doing the 6 months out there, and she came back to the base and got acclimated. She started doing like modeling and on base and all that. She kind of built her own little network and things of that nature. So when I came back, and from when I came back or whatever, I had won all these awards. So they put me back office, and it was like, okay, let's groom them up. And so boom, I made sergeant first time. And we had PCS. We found out she was pregnant, and
wow. Okay. So how long were you married before you got pregnant?
She was about 14 months.
Oh wow!
About 14 months. 14, 15 months.
Whirlwind. Okay. So how long? So you're doing this, and the first pregnancy was fine. Everything was good.
Yeah, everything was good, and so we She started having a little bit of complications, particularly towards the tail end. Water started retaining water and stuff like that or whatever. So we had moved on to England, right? So she got this huge belly and stuff, and we ain't living in England, and I got to go through airman leadership school because I just made staff sergeant. Right? I had made staff sergeant, and I put it on. I made it a little over 3 years, and I put it on in less than 4 years. So, and towards the tail end, it was like, okay, she retained her water. She needs to go constantly. And her feet were swelling up and things. So she like my son had her in remission, right? Like she was kind of going through the process, but he had her in remission and stuff. So,
wait. Yeah. I'm confused. When did she get diagnosed with the lupus?
She ended up. I'm gonna get to that point right there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they shared with it, and was you like, this is a show right here, boy. And so we going every week. We going to Cambridge, and we're going to Cambridge in different places. We got to continuously go. I'm in full-time Air Force, and I'm in Airman Leadership School, and I gotta make sure that she's good, because if she ain't good, my mental ain't good, and so I can't do it. And I'm in freaking 2 classes in school, right? I'm like, I got a full-time schedule, like really what a full-time schedule looked like. And so that were the case, man. And she had him on July 22nd, 2009, and boom. So about, they had already tasked me to go to Iraq again. They had tasked me to go to Iraq again. So, I'm gearing up to go to Iraq. I got to go to training and stuff like that. And when I'm going to training, and I go to training, and then I come back, and once I come back from training, they sent me to Iraq. They sent me to another part of Iraq. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be good out there. I'm just gonna chill for 12 months. I mean, I'm not 12 months, but let me chill for 6 months, and boom. Well, they threw me in as the NCI. I'm a brand new staff sergeant, so they threw me on as an NCOIC of logistics. So I got $4 million in logistic goods, and I am the person that sends people back and forth to Iraq. Mind you, that's stressful.
Wait. So, focus. We are. This is where the story is. So, you're in the military, doing military things, doing real big, ranked up, real cool, amazing military things. She's also in the military, but she's doing opposite things. Y'all are married. She was modeling and doing the things, and then you have a baby. The baby pregnancy, it's smooth the whole way through until the end. Then at the end, she is retaining water. She's going back and forth to Cambridge Hospital in England, and baby is born, happy, healthy, everybody's happy and healthy. Okay, so then how old is the baby? What happens? How did she get diagnosed with lupus? How do you guys go through this journey?
I'm right there. It's right there. I'm in Iraq, right? Okay. I'm in Iraq, and she's like, she in the States, and she coming back or whatever, and she has she went on a trip with me and my sister. Not me and my sister, but she went on a trip with my sister to Vegas. So they chilling, and they doing their thing in Vegas or whatever. And she's like complaining, like, oh man, I got these body aches, and I got flu-like symptoms. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And so she's like, okay, they're not figuring out here in the United States, because they giving her medications and stuff. They like, man, they're giving her Vicodin, and her body's aching. She's like, I'm gonna go back to England. They're giving her Vicodin and stuff, and her stomach, like, messing up her stomach lining, right? Yeah. Because she can't keep anything down. Wow. So she goes back to England. On her way back to England, boom, they had to have a medical emergency. Right? So they have a medical emergency, and boom, like, they have to take her, and she with her her blood pressure was low, and like, it was all types of craziness or whatever. And they,
while traveling to England, this happened.
Back to England, back to England. So she, because she was taking a hop out there, right? So she was taking it free travel to get back out there and all of that stuff. And so when that happened, the doctor was like, we don't know what's happening with you, but we're not gonna stop. I need you to come here every single day to Lakenheath Air Force Base, to RAF Lakenheath, every single day until we figure out this issue. Right? Because she was like, they put her on a gurney and took her in there. So every day she would have to come in there every single day. When she came in there one day, flatline.
What?
Flatline.
What? Okay.
Yes.
So she's not even diagnosed with anything yet, and she flatlines.
Flatline. So
wow. Okay.
She flatlined right there, and they like, welcome back. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, man, we lost you for a minute. Right. And
you're in Iraq while this is happening. Oh, that's wonderful, amazing, fantastic, terrifying. Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
And so kind of going forward with that, and they still like, we don't know. And then one of the internal medicine doctors like, I don't know, I don't think so, but I think you have lupus. She's like, and so you think, mind you, she got a 10-month. My son is only 10 months right now. He's 10 months old, right? And when it's like 10 months old, and so that's the problem. I mean, that's the process, and we had an amazing community. So the community, I was a cop in the Air Force, so my security forces community, they just rallied around her. Like Mom talking about, my commander, my chief, my first sergeant, everybody just kind of, the wives, they kind of hover around her and took care of my son and things of that nature throughout that process. And and like the Air Force was like, my chief was like, nope, let's bring him back home. Period. I don't care what he's doing out there. Let's bring him back home. He needs to take care of his son, and make sure his life's good and all that stuff. So yeah, and that was a process, man. And I was head first, because I had I had one vision, and that was the chief, E9, right? And so I'm like, man, and at that point in time, and in the Air Force, I was on a road, and so he brought me back early, and I'm like, man, you look fine to me, like, because Lupus has no face.
Yeah. Like, okay, so when she told you, how did you get this information? So you weren't there, you were in Iraq when this was happening. So who told you this info?
She called me up. She called me, and she called her first son's dad up. Say, hey, check this out. You guys are amazing fathers. I'm gonna need you guys to take care of your kids. Like, I might not make it.
Oh wow!
And we like, hold on, what's she talking about?
Had you ever heard of lupus when she told you that that's what happened? Like,
absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not. Nah, I ain't never heard of that before. I don't even know what it. You know what I mean? I had to do some research on it.
Yeah. So when did it cross your mind, like, oh, like, let me divorce this person, or let her figure out her stuff alone? When you found out about it and found out like how severe it could be, or were you like, oh, this is fine?
No, at the time we were kind of going, because she's Sagittarius and I'm a Leo, so we bumping heads. So before I went on my deployment, she was like, we were bumping heads anyway. So we were like, before she even found out she had lupus. So we're like, we bumping heads. I'm like, bro, like you, yeah, bro, like you. I don't know who you talking to like that. Not me, but no, that's not the case.
Lots of Leo friends. Y'all stubborn. That's your problem. Sagittarius is me. We're always right, and Leos are just stubborn and like to argue. That's what it is. Poor wife. I'm very sorry. So you already arguing and stuff when this all went down. So when you got to her and saw that you thought she looked fine, what was the thought process then? Like, what were you thinking when you came back?
Back then, I was thinking like, man, she fine. Like, man, why they pull me back from Iraq? She looks good. Like, she lost a lot of weight or whatever, but she looked good. Like, but then, like, going through the process and things of that nature, I ended up having to go because I shot through school. I because I was doing it And so I finished my bachelor's degree in 3 years, 5 months,
Mm,
on
cool.
full-time
Congratulations.
deployments and things of that nature. So we went
Yeah.
to my deployment. We went to my graduation in Cali, and she's going with her, and you know, she's like, my body's aching. I'm like, okay, you know, and it started like, you know, from the time I seen her at the end of May to then, it's like, okay, we got to go to these doctor's appointments, and I'm in there, and they giving it, they're sharing it to me, um and all of that stuff, and they like, hey, you about to, like I had some super cool leadership at the time, because they were like, hey, go to handle the doctor's appointment, go do this and go do
Mhm.
that, and
Yeah,
which is
that's so
cool.
important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we had to go to Cambridge, going to Cambridge every week, every week, every week, every week, every week, because that became her main doctors, internal
Mhm.
medicine doctors and stuff. And so
So y'all were in
we
England,
kind of,
back in England. Okay, so I want to extract some things from this story so far that I just want to make sure the audience is tracking with, because I know my people, we want it succinct, we want it to get it. So messages that I hear from him, partners of Lupus Warriors. Mind you, it's the first Monday of February. Happy Valentine's month. Happy month where people feel the most alone because we celebrate relationships for no apparent reason. Um, and specifically autoimmune people. Uh, you need to, if you have a partner who does not understand what you are going through, if you are diagnosed new when with an able-bodied person who has no idea about what this disease is or what it can do to you or how you can look completely normal while your body is genuinely falling apart, take them with you to your doctor's appointments. Let them understand what you are going through right now and how serious it can be. Because he said he came home and it just looked like she lost some weight and everything was fine. And he did not know until he went with her to doctor's appointments and the doctor themselves explained what is going on, what is the risk, what is the precautions you need to take, that kind of stuff. So if you are dating right now and you are serious about somebody or getting married or anything like that, and they don't understand that you have a chronic illness and what the possibilities are, take them with you to a doctor's appointment. And if you are one of those partners, be supportive. Be supportive. It is very lonely. It is very isolating to be someone trapped, existing in a body that is doing all kinds of stuff to you that you can't just show on the outside. So these are the messages I'm getting from Brandon's talk right now. So you're back. The disease is diseasing. Fast forward us to the end of her life. How did that all go down? Did you know that it was happening, or was it kind of a shock?
okay, before we get there, she actually flatlined a second time when I came back from
What?
Afghanistan. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's newly
So she
diagnosed
flatlined
and
a
has
second time.
flatlined twice.
Yeah, flatlined twice before the third time, right? So she wrote a book. She wrote Flatline 1, talked about her journey. Flatline 2, the second time, and then boom. Yeah. She wrote a book about it. She talks about it. You can find it on
Wow.
Amazon or my website.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all your information in all the captions that I can. Wow. So she wrote a book about every time she flatlined until the last time. That is terrifying and amazing. Wow.
So let me tell you, the Flatline 1 almost doesn't count is the book she wrote. And then she wrote a book called Flatline 2, Resuscitated.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
And they're on
yeah. So
Amazon.
resuscitated. So that's when she started fighting back and with lupus, and she be able to because we talking about this happened in 2009. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
this. No, this happened in 2010. So we talking about May 2010. She passed away in October 2020.
That's something that we talked about, that I was going through my most aggressive, at that time when I met you, my most aggressive flare up in 2010, and your wife was going through her most aggressive to that time flare up in 2010. And that's why I was like, we were meant to know each other, sir. Like, there's no denying that. Okay, so she flatlines twice. She writes 2 books, which is like, that's some great use of some trauma. You better use that trauma, people. Don't just have trauma and exist in it. Have trauma and teach other people how to get through the trauma that you got through. Okay, thanks. So after the second time flatlining, fast forward us to kind of the end of her life and what was happening. How did that go?
All right, cool. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of context with it. So we were together for 3.5 years. We was apart for 3.5 years. She was in the States or whatever. We were kind of figuring our life out, bumping heads. Then after I came out the military, we was like, hey, let's get this thing one more shot. Give it one more shot. And over those 6 years or whatever, and we ended up going to publish over 200 books and started a publishing company, published over 200 books, did a lot of great things. She actually wrote about 16 books.
What? Get it, Lupus Warrior.
Yeah, she wrote like 16 books and all of that. And so we going through the process, we kind of, both entrepreneurs and we like driving, pushing one another to our greatness and things of that nature. Then COVID happened in 2020. Right? She was going through a lot of different things emotionally because she got diagnosed. She had like right before she passed, like she got diagnosed with she was going there for a tummy tuck consultation, but then they tell her what is it called? Her stomach or whatever, it's attached to a piece, and they gotta have surgery anyways. So they gotta have surgery. So it's not a wanted surgery anymore. Now it's a needed surgery. Right? And so and that was the case, and she was like, what? Like every time I want something, how you guys think. So every time I want something, that's serious.
I will not have Sagittarius slander on my show. It's my show, sir. Okay.
So we kind of go through the process, and COVID is happening full force. We like entrepreneur full time, and the kids at home, and we got the kids. How crazy the world was back then, and so the week, it's crazy that the craziest statement is this here. We had this incident with one of our authors, the week prior to her passing, right? And she, we going into this back and forth type of deal, and she asked me just after it calmed down, she said, "Hey, you got your life insurance?" I was like, "Yeah, you got your life insurance?" And so she was just kind of asking and things of that nature, and I'm like, why did you? What kind of questions that? And so, but I'm thinking she had already known. I contracted. Like she's feeling different. Like I didn't know this, right? So, that Monday, I'm getting back in the gym. So I'm working hard. I'm in the gym. Got my mask on and all that stuff. But that Monday, I usually go to the gym, but that Monday I felt like down, and like I was feeling heavy. Like I was sleepy type of deal. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to the gym. She's like, no, babe, get up and go to the gym. That's your thing. And I'm like, all right, cool. She had to push me to go. And so that was the case. And after that, I was like, okay, that Tuesday, I'm like, yeah, I ain't getting up and going to the gym today, bro. Like, I'm so tired right now. Like, it was like a monkey was on my shoulders and weighing me down. And so she was feeling like this was kind of like the season for her to, like, her body to be like fiberglass, being her throat, coughing a lot. And so I'm used to this, back together for 6 years. And so I'm used to this, and I'm focusing on it. Like, okay, I'll just lay in the bed with you, right? You just kick it and watch movies all day. And she's kind of down, and so I didn't think nothing of it. It was kind of normal. And so later on that night, my daughter caught a fever, an ear infection, right? Daughter caught an ear infection. My daughter was only, 22 months, 21 months at the time. Yeah, my daughter was 21 months at the time, I think. And yep, she was 21 months at the time. And And so I'm just like, all right, let's take her. She's like, hey, we about to take her to the doctor. You can't play with a, you know what I mean, a toddler like that. So we're gonna
Yeah.
take her to the doctor, get her checked out. And she was like, I'm gonna go get checked out too. So we
Okay.
take her and they checking her. I'm because I had been dealing with the baby already.
Mm-hmm.
And so they check her ear. I was like, yeah, she got a minor ear infection or whatever. It ain't too bad. It's a little red in there, but like when Ebony though, they checking her out and they's like, man, no, we need to get her to the back. Like they did a sepsis call all over
So,
the hospital. Was like
so
sepsis. Like, oh,
she is in the bed with you, intending to stay in the bed, just chilling as her body is shutting down. Wow. Masking. Lupus warriors, chronic illness warriors. Please. I understand that it's easier to mask. I understand you don't want people to know what you're going through. But do you see that this woman, this beautiful woman with children and a husband, masked so hard that the only reason that they found out that anything was happening was because she had to take her baby to the doctors? Please, please, regular doctor's appointments, if you feel anything, just go make sure it's nothing. Just go make sure it's nothing. This is unnecessary. Like, being a thug all the time is not important. Really, what you need to do is make sure you're okay. Make sure you're there for the people who love you. Okay, so they take her to the back, sepsis, and then what happens?
At that point, they like, hey, I took care of the baby and all that stuff, and I got the baby together, and at that point, I'm like, all right, so she sleep, baby sleeping, and they got her in the thing, and they like, okay, we got to go get an X-ray, a scan of your chest. They come back and it was like, oh yeah, you got like a hole in your heart type deal. And it's like she had mentioned it before. She had dealt with it for a period of time anyway. So I guess she was. They said you've had it for years, right? And they told her that you've had this for years. Like you had it as a kid, and that's probably you know what I mean, like and all of that. It's like we just never caught it. It's just kind of it's crazy how life will present itself at times, and so it's like we see that, but let's do one more test. They had this cool guy. He was a nurse. He was a cool nurse, man. Like he was from Florida. Right? It's crazy. I moved to Florida too, by the way. But he cool nurse, and he was like, man, let's do this thing. So he tested her for COVID. He said, all right, cool. Found out. I got some good news. I found out. And he said, you have COVID. We like, oh
my God.
no,
That's in 2020
like,
when they didn't even know what was going on. Like, they had no idea what COVID was really capable of or how to treat anything about it. Wow.
So we talking about this 2020 when nobody knows anything about COVID, right?
The end of
like
2020,
COVID is like,
right?
huh? It's the end of 2020. But they still figuring out life though. You know what I'm saying? They still figuring out life with COVID. Can you live from COVID? Because every time you look on the, you know what I mean, CNN, or that's the only one I really watch is CNN for the most part, is I'm looking on CNN, I'm looking on all these different, I'm looking at, Google, I'm looking, how close is that to Gwinnett? How close is that Gwinnett? How many people in Gwinnett got it? Like how many people live? And I'm like, oh, I'm in the, every day, multiple times a day.
Y'all, Gwinnett is a county in Georgia. Sorry. People don't always know what you're talking about.
Okay. I lived in Snellville, Georgia. Okay. Gwinnett is just a county of it. And so I'm like, man, what is, so I'm like, geez. So I'm like, okay, she got COVID. All right.
Dang. So that was peak COVID. Everyone's on a ventilator. All the hospitals are packed. All that. Wow. So, and was she on medication before she got COVID, like lupus medication, regular?
Oh yeah, for sure. She had to take lupus medications every single day every single day, and she had to take
Yeah.
that for the rest of her life.
That's what they told her. So
Yeah.
lupus medication, if for those who don't know, if you're just new to any of this, it's immunosuppressive. So it is to quiet your immune system so it doesn't fight anything, including your own body and cells. So she, being a lupus warrior at the time, the height of COVIDicus, um, was extra terrifying because there was no thing at like a vaccine or anything like that anyways at that time, much less the medications that they would give people uh for to like strengthen your immune system when you have lupus is a completely opposite thing, because a lot of times you want your immune system to be quiet. So treating a regular schmegular person with COVID is one thing. Treating an autoimmune champion warrior with COVID or any kind of illness that's not lupus or whatever you're dealing with is a whole separate thing. And back then, Lord have mercy, she was a warrior. So how long
Um,
was she in the hospital with COVID?
okay, cool. So, boom, like, she was in the hospital with COVID. They admitted her right there that night.
Mhm.
They admitted her that night or whatever, and then I went home with the kids, and we talked or whatever the case is, and so I appreciate you for doing this and that. And I was like, nah, bro, we locked in. You know what I mean? Like we locked in. Let's, we'd have been through a lot of different things together. This is just the only one thing. So let's move forward with this deal, and let's conquer this thing, and like just like we did everything else together. So
Yeah.
I went and got the kids checked up the next day,
Mhm.
and got them freaking got them swabbed and all that, get them tested and things of that nature. There was pop up shops everywhere around
Yeah,
with
yeah.
and
At
so
that time.
got them checked out. Yeah, got them checked out, and boom. So when I got them checked out, my son ended up having it. Right, my daughter
Mm,
did.
okay, wow. Wow, wow,
My
wow.
daughter did.
Oh, thank God the baby
Yeah.
didn't get it, but that's still scary at that time when nobody knew anything about it. Like, wow, wow, wow. Okay. So how long was she in the hospital?
She was in. Okay, so this is Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. She gets out on Thursday. Like that
Okay.
Wednesday, they did a whole iron transfusion, I think a blood transfusion with her and everything.
Mm,
'Cause she and that Thursday they told her, she hit me. She sent me a picture of the paper. She was like, yeah, they said I got to give. I think she called. Yeah, she called me. Say they said I had to get a lung transplant, just like that.
wow.
Um, and they was like, she was like, yeah, I'm coming home. Like I'm
Mm,
done with this. I'm just done with this. And she knew that if she went on a ventilator, that was it. Her lung was already
right.
done. Once you get it hooked up, that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
You're
Uh,
dependent after that. Your lungs stop wanting to work after you are on a ventilator. Okay. All right. This is the longest podcast. I gotta, you gotta give us the nitty and the gritty at the end.
Okay, yeah, it's the end. This the end. This is the end. So Thursday she came home and she laid in the hospital. I mean, laid in the bed. Friday we all laid in my room. I had this huge room, and so we all laid in my room. And then Saturday morning, she transitioned.
Wait. At home with y'all?
Yeah. I seen her take her last breath.
Brandon. Oh my goodness. Not me crying on my podcast. Yo, that's like so beautiful and so heartbreaking. So she didn't want the lung transplant. She just decided to go home. Whoo, Lord. Mm-mm. I I don't know if I would be that strong. I do not know. Like it is a lot. It's a lot to go through all the procedures and the transfusions and the surgeries and that kind of stuff. Um, and yeah, I do understand choosing to go on your own terms and that kind of thing. But with your babies there and your husband. I can't imagine. God bless you all, honestly. And it's just
One
happened.
thing is,
Yeah.
one thing is, if she'd stayed in the hospital, she would have never seen us again. So you think about that. That's the weighing of the balance of it, like going and staying in there or coming home to actually hug her babies one last time. And that's the difference between the that's the I would have did this. I would have she made a decision for her what was best, and that were the things that I always I allow people to make a decision for themselves or whatever, and because at the end of it, I don't have to deal with lupus, right? Like I'm a co-star in your story, right? And so that's one of the biggest things is me being a co-star in her story. She's the main character, right? She's the main character, right? Like, and all of that. And so that's that. So okay, cool.
I'm just trying to hold it together. Oh man, that's really beautiful and sad and amazing. Like, because yeah, at that time nobody could even be in the hospital when people had COVID. Like, you couldn't be there. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I do not know if I could make that decision. Because who knows? Like, if she would have stayed, maybe she would have lived longer, but we don't know that. And people were dying every day at that time. Wow, wow, wow. So this was 2020, peak COVID. And they let her out of the hospital to go home and be with her family. And she was there how many days?
Like from Thursday, I think I picked her around Thursday. We went to the grocery store because we were like, oh, okay, we about to be in the house for 7 days. So we went to the grocery store, got some food, and then we went home. So that was around like 1-2 o'clock until she transitioned around, I think around 10 on Saturday morning.
Wow. And then ooh, I'm so flustered. I'm sorry. And then how did you go on from that? Like what is there's no handbook for this, and you still she didn't have lupus for that long for you to even understand, like, or were you in support groups? Like, what help? Explain what's going on right now, because I'm spiraling. Help me. This is so sad. Wow.
It's all good, man. From there, she knew she was gonna be transitioning one day. They told her she was only gonna live to 30.
Same.
They told her she was only gonna live to 30, and God gave her another 5 years. So, that's one of the things about it. And so she going through her journey. For me, she had talked to me about it before, and I was like, man, you don't get out my face, bro. Like, I talked to her just like that, bro. You don't get out my face. Like, she's like, oh, when she said, if something happens to me, would you move forward? I'm like, bro, ain't nothing happening. You get out my face, dude. And she said that 3 times. It went into the 3rd time. I was like, bro, why you keep on asking me this question?
And insurance.
I was like, yeah, I'll move on or whatever. I would move on or whatever, but I wouldn't want to, but I would move on in life. But like, why you keep on asking me this question? But she had asked me this years prior to COVID even happening. Mm-hmm. Years prior. Yeah.
That is wild.
So you asked me what I did to move forward. I started coping. I find a different coping mechanism. Different coping mechanisms. I was attempting to, you talking about somebody that did 4 tours in 6 years. 4 tours in 6 years. So I was battling with PTSD, psychiatric disorder, and things of that nature. So, and just like such, you don't know who has PTSD, right? You don't know who has whatever in the world. You just kind of know what you see. It's just similar to lupus, I guess you could say, with people that battle uphill a lot. And I started dating.
Mental illnesses are also chronic illnesses. Oh, yeah. You count. You're one of us. One of us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I started moving forward in my life, man, and I just it woke me up, right? It woke me up, and like just in my vision, what I wanted. Like I was like 21. It was, I mean, like it was like, who am I? Like who am I in
Mm,
21?
yeah.
In 22, I said, what direction am I going in my life?
Right.
Right. And so my direction led me down in Florida. I was like, okay, I want to be around water, and I want to be able to, heal. And in 23, it was about healing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Healing. And in 24, it was about moving forward,
Right.
moving forward, marching
Here we
forward. And
are, 25.
25, it's, hey,
Yes.
whatever the vision can go, right? Wherever the vision can go, um, impacting people. And I found my purpose through this journey, and which was empowerment through transformation.
Right. Wow. That is such a powerful story. And oh my gosh, it's so many people that you're going to help. And I'm very excited about that for you. And I have no doubt that you and your family, you and your kids are going to have an epic, amazing life. So, what is one thing you want to leave my audience with, and where can they find you?
All right, cool. So here's the only book we wrote together. This book actually, I can't say it right now because the ink has to dry on the pages or whatever. A lot of great things are happening with this book right here, though. This is the only book
Mhm.
me and Ebony wrote together, and so it's called Madam by Night, Secretary by Day. You can find it on Amazon, on my website, right? And so this was first thing I would say: overcome those fears you got. I said I could never read, write, and speak. I wasn't good at it, right? I always said I'm not a good speaker. I'm not a good writer. I'm not a good, to be able to move in front of somebody. Let me tell you, I failed the third grade and fifth grade because I hated reading, writing, and speaking, and I created
Wow.
that thought in my head, right? I wrote this book. I started this book on the way to New York, during troubled times. So this book started on my cell phone. So you can do anything you want to in life if you do anything you want to in life. Okay. So that's the first deal, right? And so empowerment through transformation, right? And so I just published this new journal, right? It's called The Journey of Being, and we are all doing that. The Journey of Being, right? 30-day guided journal to acceptance, transformation, and mastery. 30-day guided journal to acceptance, transformation, and mastery. Well, you can find me at, you can find me at www dot flipping trauma to the ATM.
Okay.
www dot flipping FLIPPINTRAUMA 2 ATM.com.
I will have all his stuff linked in the YouTube bio and on Facebook. So you will have all his links, and to be able to speak to him, reach out. I'm gonna tag him on all his socials also. Um, yeah, if there's any widowers out there who can relate or need someone to talk to, I know how men get. They don't want to talk to nobody about nothing. We got a military man, a father, a husband who's been through this type of trauma, and he has turned it all around, like his website says, flipped it to making it that he can make a living. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you so much for being vulnerable with us. I had never heard the full story like this. I know that I was gonna cry today, but here we are. Thank you. Uh, thank you guys to whoever stuck it out. I know this is an extra long podcast. I don't usually do this long, but the story. Oh, let me read some of these comments to you. She wanted to be with her. Oh, somebody had asked, why did she need a lung transplant? Did you know?
Well, she already had pulmonary fibrosis of the lungs because she had asthma as a kid. So lupus attacked her lungs, right? It attacked her
Mm,
lungs and blew her lungs out. So
okay.
so you think about a barbecue grill, right? This is the example she gave me. Think about a barbecue grill, and
Mm-hmm.
our lungs, if we walk upstairs or whatever, she couldn't even walk from from Walmart door to our car when it was raining without being out of breath.
Yeah.
Right. So she dealt with
Okay.
it. So when COVID happened, it blew her lung out.
Mm-hmm. So it's from fibrosis. Okay, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of thank you for sharing. Thank you. That it can't be easy. There's joy you have in the midst of it all. Your story is powerful. I'm grateful and encouraged. Loving the website, an empowering story. She wanted to be with her love. It's heartbreaking and beautiful. It is. It is. This is so sad. Beautiful insight. Thank you. Wow, she put up a strong fight. And yeah, man. This was great. And I appreciate you for being here. I'm gonna end this podcast now. You guys have a lovely day. I'm gonna repost this today, the replay. If you couldn't get through all of it in the live, please come back for the replay. This was a very powerful episode. Huge lesson, huge story, huge resilience in this family. Small children, a sick mother, and a military father. I am certain that this story is not just them. Like, I'm certain that this same type of story has happened to people and they maybe have not spoken about it. So share this with whoever needs to see this, that things like this can happen. You can be sick and you can lose a partner and you can still thrive. You can still be resilient. You can still, on this Valentine's month rather, think about the love that you had and be grateful for it. Not just be like, oh, why can't I have blah blah blah. He had a whirlwind romance and love that came with 2 children and a story and a literal book that they can share forever. Like, her mind is on paper for him to have forever. And remember that if you are loopy, if you are chronically ill, you still deserve love. You still deserve people to care about you and love you and to grow your family in however way whatever that means to you. And you will be remembered and your life means something. So have a lovely, beautiful, gorgeous day. Thank you so much for staying for this extra, extra long podcast. Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.